What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sinceres here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for November 8th, 2019's reset. So let's get right into this and see what we got good for this week. Okay, so for our first gear items, we're going to head over to Camp Hudson. And here the gear vendor has a gunslinger's vest with the talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 273. It has 1995 armor. It's rolled for electronics 1159. And the attributes we have here is enemy armor damage, exotic damage resilience, and ammo capacity. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to the meat locker. And here the weapons vendor has a tyrant suppressor with 7.50% crit hit chance, 2% accuracy, and 4% crit hit damage. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the base operations. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Black Market M60E with a gear score of 263. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Commanding, Brutal, and Prepared. I'll probably run this for some PvE missions with that Brutal because it's much easier to land headshots on them. And then also here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 277. It has 991 armor. It's rolled for electronics 1134, and the attributes it has is all resistance and damage to elites. And then also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7% support station duration. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. The weapons vendor here at the front has a Super 90 with a gear score of 269. It has 304.50% stagger, and the talents it has is competent, accurate, and unforgiving. Definitely run this for some PvE missions. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. The gear vendor here has a prototype performance mod with 4% sticky bomb damage. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor, and here we got a SOCOM M1A with a gear score of 276. It has 149% headshot damage. The talents it has is skilled, prepared, and vicious. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations, and the special equipment vendor here has a Cassidy with a gear score of 262. It has 329.50% stagger. And the talents it has is Unforgiving, Commanding, and Boomstick. You already know that third talent. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent Relentless on there with a gear score of 273. It has 1304 armor. It's rolled for electronics 1168. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and bleed resistance. Also here we got an extended magazine with 112% magazine size, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 4.50% reload speed. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to Camp Clinton. Here, the special equipment vendor has a tactical SASG 12K with a gear score of 259. It has 304 stagger, and the talents it has is Fierce, Adept, and Deadly. Also here, we got an operator mask with the talent refreshed on there. This one has a gear score of 271. Its armor is 953. Its roll for firearms 1117. And the attributes it has is all resistance and disorienting resistance. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% turret damage. I thought I mentioned that because I'm here. Also here we got a heavy magazine spring with 5% reload speed, 11% magazine size, and 10.80% rate of fire. Also here we got a tyrant suppressor with 7.50% crit hit chance, 2.50% stability, and 4% crit hit damage. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to Autumn's Hope. And here the gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Enduring on there with a gear score of 277. The armor is 978. It's roll for firearms 1224. And the attributes it has is skill power and blind death resistance. And then also here we got a prototype electronics mod with 261 electronics and 3,285 health. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Madison's stand. And here the gear vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Inventive on there with a gear score of 268. Its armor is 1148. Its roll for electronics 1172. And the attributes it has is skill power and burn resistance. And then also here we got a prototype firearms mod with 260 firearms and 2% skill haste. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the Grindhouse. Here the weapons vendor has a classic RPK-74 with a gear score of 271. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Unforgiven, Skilled, and Vicious. I've never been a big fan of running Unforgiven and Vicious on the same weapon, but I know some people do it, so I thought I'd mention it. And then also here we got a Omega Rifle Suppressor with 18.50% headshot damage, 4% optimal range, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to the Firewall. Here the gear vendor has an operator vest with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 263. The armor is 1727. Its roll for electronics 1134. And the attributes it has is health, all resistance, and increased kill XP. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to West 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has the operator vest with the talent Reckless on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor is 1974. Its roll for stamina 1116. And the attributes it has is all resistance, health on kill, and ammo capacity. And then also here I mentioned it because I'm here. We got a small red grip with 17% crit hit damage, 4.50% optimal range, and 5% reload speed. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 39th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 266. The armor is 1141. Its roll for stamina 1198. And the attributes it has is health and bleed resistance. Also here we have a small red grip with 17% crit hit damage, 2.50% stability, and 4.50% reload speed. For our next gear item, is going to head over to West 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 253 firearms and 1% crit hit chance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to West 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a military L86 LSW with a gear score of 281. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Fierce, Vicious, and Predatory. Also here we have an extended magazine with 109% magazine size, 4.50% reload speed, and 4% crit hit damage. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to West 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 266. The armor is 1254. Its roll for firearms 1115. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and burn resistance. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 2% post crit hit chance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 61st Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has a small red grip with 17% crit hit damage, 2.50% stability, and 4% reload speed. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 274. The armor is 960.
Supply drops have been terminated.
Its roll for stamina 1224. And the attributes it has is crit hit chance and damage to elites. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent Inventive on there with a gear score of 266. The armor is 1219. And its roll for electronics 1154. And the attributes it has is stability and disrupt resistance. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has a military MK46 with a gear score of 270. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Predatory, Prepared, and Adept. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5.50% first aid ally heal. If you're a healer and you want strong heals, these mods are a must-have. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a rugged mini reflex sight with 7.50% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 266. It has 870 armor. Its roll for electronics 1244. And the attributes it has is health on kill and blind death resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 40th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a pro red dot sight with 18% crit hit damage, 4.50% optimal range, and 2.50% stability. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator pack with the talent Specialized on there. It has a gear score of 263. It has 1143 armor. Its roll for stamina 1,124, and attributes it as a skill power and ammo capacity. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 31st Street checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical vest with the talent Reckless on there. It has a gear score of 263. Its armor is 1,770. Its roll for firearms 1,121, and attributes it as is health, skill haste, and ammo capacity. And then also here we got a loud vent break with 18% crit hit damage, 2% accuracy, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ2 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 277. The armor is 950. Its roll for stamina 1,217, and the attributes it has is all resistance and damage to elites. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ4 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 256 firearms and 3,192 health. And then also here we got a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid self-heal. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ5 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has a SR7 suppressor with 18% crit hit damage, 2.50% stability, and 2.50% crit hit chance. And then also here we got a pro red dot sight with 18% crit hit damage, 4.50% optimal range, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ8 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 262. The armor is 876. Its roll for stamina 1,139, and attributes it as a skill power and blind death resistance. And then also here we got an operator vest with the talent Reckless on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor is 1,845. Its roll for stamina 1,160, and attributes this has is enemy armor damage, all resistance, and increased kill XP. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ9 safe room. In here, the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has a SR7 suppressor with 18% crit hit damage, 4.50% optimal range, and 2% accuracy. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video for November 8th, 2019's reset. I want to thank everybody who tuned into it. Thank you. I appreciate that support. I want to thank everybody who subbed to the channel. Thank you. I appreciate that support. Thank you everybody who's dropping those likes on the video. I appreciate that. And if y'all got any questions or anything, just shoot me a message in the comment section. To those that want me to add in timestamps and go in more detail, I would love to do all that stuff for y'all, but it'll extend the time frame of the video, and I'm not really trying to do that. I want to try to really make it as quick as possible for y'all. So if y'all just got questions, just shoot it to me in the comment section, and I'll holler at y'all with the next one. Everybody take care. Peace.